For almost a year, Kayleigh McEnany had a front row seat to some of the most high-stakes moments in our country's history. And for such a time as this, my faith journey through the White House and beyond, she takes readers along for the ride and describes how her faith in God carried her through.
I was one piece in what is a much bigger puzzle, and that's God's plan for all of us.
McEnany says relying on God was key to her success at the White House.
One of the things I did before the first time I took to the podium was talk to one of my predecessors, Sarah Sanders, and she sent me a list of advice, and one of them was, most importantly, pray.
Prayer played an important role ahead of her first briefing on May 1st, 2020.
So good afternoon. I have an announcement. I'm supposed to take to the podium at 2 p.m., but rather than walking to the podium, I'm in my office crying out of such nerves. Sarah had told me, most importantly, don't worry and pray, but I was indeed worrying.
So she turned to her faith.
And I went to the West Wing bathroom, the private bathroom there, and got on my knees and prayed. And Vice President Mike Pence went like this to me and said, "I've been praying for you," which meant a whole lot. And I can tell you it was Christians like Sarah and the Vice President and Christians across the country who prayed for the administration that I think helped. I know that it helped the Trump administration along the way, and it certainly helped me, millions of Christians praying.
Praying with her team ahead of briefings soon became the norm.
You really were there at a historic time in our country. A lot happened. What was one of the hardest days that you went through?
I think one of the hardest days for me, it was certainly when the President of the United States got COVID-19. It was the most fearful I've been. It was extremely eerie to be in a White House in a West Wing without a commander-in-chief in the Oval Office.
Despite a resume that qualified her for the job, McEnany credits the Lord for leading her there.
I was brought to this position for such a time as this by Christ. I didn't make it there my own, and I want anyone reading this to know you are where you are, in a place, in a time, in a circumstance, in your body for such a time as this for a reason and a purpose. And if you ask Christ to guide you, he will take you to show you that plan he has for your life, just like he did for me.
McEnany's daughter, Blake, was just 5 months old when she started at the White House.
I learned how to hold a pacifier in my daughter's lips while fielding a call from the president and answering reporters in between in a rotating series of calls.
McEnany also shares how Trump reacted to constant negative media reports and the story that upset him most.
I can say without a doubt it's the Atlantic story. The president was in the middle of doing a rally, and this story comes out that says President Trump had called fallen military men and women suckers and losers. It was just categorically false.
Since leaving office, other former administration officials have written books sharing unflattering depictions of life inside the Trump White House.
It's very frustrating because it doesn't ring true to the person that I knew. Was he a tough boss? Certainly. He's the president of the United States. He's a businessman. We know who President Trump is. So he demands, the highest level of hard work from those around him. But he also is a father, a great family man, and someone who I grew to know and love.
If President Trump runs again in 2024, will you be a part of the campaign?
I'd never say never to anything, but I'd say it'd be hard to go back on the campaign trail. I hope to have more children by then. We'll see. But it would be hard to be a mom of many to be on the campaign trail. But I say the greatest honor, professionally speaking, of my life was getting the call to be press secretary and being asked to serve in public service at a high level in government is an honor. So, who knows if I was ever asked to do that again. It certainly was the high honor of a lifetime for sure.
McEnany says she doesn't know if former President Donald Trump will run again in 2024. Regardless, she believes the GOP is stronger and more united than ever before. Reporting from Virginia, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.